Hello, lovelies. Welcome back again here, and I have another art journal for you. By the way, my name is April. If you're new here, and I do a lot of things, mostly painting and other paper crafting. But for this video, I'm focusing more with art journaling, which I'm trying to create 10 spreads before this month ends. And this one is my seventh art journal. And I'm kind of proud of myself for getting this far because normally I cannot commit to 100-day projects, 30-day challenge, drawing, and stuff like that. But so I aim just 10 before this month ends. So here I am with my seventh one. A big yay for me! Woohoo! Anyway, what's happening here was I'm using a gouache paint to add colors on my journal. I really wanted to try another medium, which is acrylic, but I'm too lazy to go to my studio and get some of my art materials. So here I am just making the most out of it. So here, I'm using a different technique or different style of art journaling, but it turned out to be one of my favorite page so far. So I just used two colors for a very minimalistic style, and then I wanted a gradient look, so I just add a dark color of yellow on the left page and then wash it off with water as it goes to the right page. And then I added blobs of colors on the left ones because I'm thinking of creating black lines with this. So I'm thinking of drawing flowers. So I created the blobs with like flower-like shapes. And then I added stencils with modeling paste and I just spread it all over the page and then continued adding rubber stamps, and I'm using a very light ink pad, so it's just giving me a very light strokes. And the funny thing with this one is since the ink pad is a bit smaller compared to the um, stamp, two colors are actually added in one stamp, so it's not really visible on the page, but yeah, that's what's happening there. All right, so here I'm starting to layer the blobs with a brush pen. I'm using a Pentel brush pen here. This is one of my favorite pen actually. It can give you a very thin and thick line. And then seriously, I don't really know what's happening here. This is the first time that I tried doing this, basing my drawing from the color that I can see or from the shape that I already have. So as you can see, this art journal thing that I'm doing doesn't only save me from my sanity, but I'm actually able to explore a lot of things or a lot of techniques in or like without being afraid of trying or creating a mistake. So I've seen these techniques before, like some would just create a circle or like a random shape from using watercolor or other paints, and then they will draw on it on top of it. So I'm trying that kind of technique here. At first it was a bit challenging because first of all I draw very slowly and ideas really come to me at a very slow pace. So at first I really don't have any idea how to draw flowers with this shape or how do I connect them together. But I took it one shape at a time, and then from there I just add few leaves and other fillers in between. So one thing I have in mind though, just like in photographs or painting and even in art journaling, you must have a focal point. So whether it's a text or if it's an image, you must have a focal point at least. Well, that's the way I look at it. So with this spread, I know that I need to draw a bigger flowers than the first few flowers that I created. So here on this part is my focal point, and this is a little bit bigger than the previous one. As you can also see on the upper right side, like the flower that looks like a bud, it's still unfinished because apparently the modeling paste that I used for with the stencil wasn't dry yet, so I have to wait for it to dry until I can continue the bud over there. Okay, so as you can see, this flower is way bigger than the previous one. So when you look at the page at first glance, this is where your eyes will lead you. There are really no rules when it comes to art journaling, but it's just nice to apply, let's say, what I've learned from photography or in painting, because when you look at this spread or when you look at your journal, your eyes will always go directly to where it catches its attention. So in my case, I wanted my eye or your eyes to be focusing more on the flowers rather than the other side of the page. So, since this is already my seventh journal, I got a lot of learnings or realization while doing this. Since art journal is, aside from sanity saver, of course, I was able to explore a lot of things aside from using different materials. I was also able to discover the style that I wanted. So while I was doing this, I was really enjoying the process, and at the same time, I like the idea that it's minimalist. So you don't see a lot of colors, but at the same time, I was able to draw, and then I was also able to explore colors. Just combining colors, two at least. So I get to play which colors are complementary or works okay if you just use two. So anyway, here I am just filling it with few random unknown flowers or ferns. And I think there's a part of this that I overdo, but just like what I said, art journaling is about exploration for me. So at least from there, I already know, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this next time. Okay, so what's happening here was I wanted to add color yellow on the bigger flower, but I made a mistake because I didn't realize the pentel brush pen is not a water base, which is actually another discovery. So it ended up that the ink were smudged, but it turned out okay though. But at least next time I know what kind of pen to use. So the 10 art journals that I'm aiming are Bible or God related quotes. So here's the quote that I wrote for this spread, and I've just chose a very short quote so it goes along with the layout. So this is art journal number 7 and my favorite spread so far, and I'm hoping if I keep continuing or creating art journals, I'll be able to develop my style, such as this one. So this one was also created in less than an hour. It just took me a little longer for the drawing because, as usual, I can't draw straight because of Nicolas. But nonetheless, since I'm aiming the minimalistic style, I think this kind of art journaling works for me best. So I have 3 more art journal spreads to share with you before this month ends. I'm really crossing my fingers I'd be able to commit on that. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'd really appreciate if you click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Bye!